Hello. Let me off this first. Remove from now. Hello. Welcome to DevKami number 102. My name is Sumin.
I am Tristan.
And today is Mooncake Day, aka Mid Autumn, which
Yeah.
means the moon is the round, one of the round, is the roundest, is the fullest, except it's raining outside at my place. So
Yeah.
not just that,
Same.
nobody is playing lantern. I can't go to take photo of the moon, which is sad.
Mm,
So either way,
yeah.
happy Mid
Sometimes I
Autumn.
wish
Uh
our
huh.
101 episode fell today because today is
Yes.
1001,
Yep.
DevKami 101. But
Yes.
unfortunately, it's episode 102. So that's
Yes. Oh, we got subtitle now. I didn't realize that. Interesting. I wonder
do
how they
we? I
pick
don't
up
know.
Malaysian accent.
How do we
So
get
that
the subtitle? I don't get a
I do not
subtitle.
know. I just do the usual thing, broadcast to all
Mm,
channel and all that. I think it might be setting in YouTube, or it could be automated. One of the automated thing that
mm,
enable. That being said, that being said, oh yeah, what happened with Chilean? Short answer: internet problem. Long
mm,
answer: it's an internet problem which up to 200 kilobit, which is unusable by by Malaysian standard. So yeah, so that happened. So when Odin said something is related to what happening after this, the short for that I think we are A/B tested. But that being said, so today we won't have Chilean learning, unfortunately. So let's start with our
mhm.
usual thing. Do we have Ruby Tuesday next Tuesday?
Yes, we are having Ruby Tuesdays, but it's not a Ruby Tuesday meetup. We are
Uh,
having the Ruby Tuesday Code Clinic. So if you have any
right.
issues with your code, or you just want to ask questions, you want to work on a small, short project together,
Mm-hmm.
or you want to just learn a new thing,
Mm-hmm.
come join us. We're going to be doing some breakout sessions. I think we're doing it on Discord, but
Right.
because Zoom might be too short. So we'll figure out. Follow us on the meetup page and also on Facebook and also on
Mm-hmm.
Slack, and then we'll see what happens. But it will be
And
an interesting code clinic on Tuesday.
and that's about the only thing that will happen next week.
Mm.
Okay, so
Is
slowly
it?
went there. So it seems. So it seems.
Mm.
The next one is actually DevOps Malaysia Meetup, which is on
The
13.
week after, right? Yeah.
Yeah, correct. So let's move on. Let's move on. Let's start with our Bus Corner. Oh yeah, let's do some community announcement before I go to Bus Corner. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
if you notice our website, we begin to have blog now,
Mm-hmm.
right? We have blog
Yes, we have a blog. Assuming what's happening to your internet as well.
now.
Oh no.
We have 200 every night. Every night, there's an internet problem in my house, and my router do not have QoS because we actually rely on the TV, uh, and the unified TV use something else and all that. So as a
Mm-hmm.
result, I don't get QoS for the stupid router, which is annoying. I need to figure that out
Mm.
soon. So, so we have our blog now. So our latest article is by Andy, and the next one is Parascript, aka Tristan.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, the content will blog will be similar. Will tend to be similar to our usual content. A bit casual, a bit casual. Can, but also very technical. So yeah. So this our
But
blog coming soon.
what if people want to contribute to our blog?
So our blog contribution is very simple. Actually, it's not so simple because you may not realize it. You go to devkami.com, blah blah. Oh no! Now you see all my porn.
I think we should
Content.
change it. Like we should put in like instructions. Want
Yeah,
your
you should.
article featured here, then
Yes,
do all of these
correct.
things.
It would be part of the issue. Uh, I put that on the README later.
Mm-hmm.
Just create the content based on this directory structure. And here, this month will be October 10. There's a day, the title. Then it will be in Markdown. You will notice it will be Markdown.
Mm-hmm.
So what else? Do a pull request. If you think the content is acceptable, which means that we're in charge. Also, if the content is acceptable to us, we will actually do I will merge the pull request and we will publish. So what kind of thing that we look at it is not necessarily highly technical. For example, this article by Andy is reasonably it's okay, it's programming, but it's also a bit more toward the general side. So do a pull request if you're okay. If you're okay with it, we'll merge it. Also, if you really want to link back, you can link back because as you can see, and we actually link back the article to his
Mm-hmm.
original page. So you want to link back to your blog, no problem. We are okay with it. So anything else about blog that I forget to say?
Nicholas is saying make it a Oktoberfest task. Well, I would say, Nicholas, we should get an article up here, and then
Yes,
maybe we can consider that.
yes. So
If you
yeah,
don't, if you're just waiting for the opportunity to get a blog set up, I mean, it might be one of your bucket list things. I wish I
yeah,
had a blog, but I never can figure out how to install WordPress, or never had the time, or something like that. Well, this is your chance, because now there's a ready-made blog here,
mhm,
and all you need to do is write that article that you've wanted to write for so long.
correct.
No setup needed.
Yeah. So with that said, that's our announcement. Let's go to our bus corner. Buzz. So the first one, our friend at Cytron, our favorite local electronic component and hardware uh, maker site, a maker provider, actually have a new Kickstarter campaign. This is the EduBit. So what is the EduBit? EduBit is actually it's a board. It's a
It's a set of sensors and controllers and stuff.
correct. So what this does is this is actually an extension board for the BBC
Mm.
micro:bit. And do you know what is the BBC micro:bit?
What
So
is
the
the
BBC
BBC
mic
microbit?
so the BBC micro:bit is a microcontroller board designed for children. Uh, Reasonably powerful, but it's not the Raspberry Pi. Uh, I hope I can show this here.
Yeah.
BBC micro my micro:bit. Ta-da. So it have so this thing here is a microcontroller board, comes with battery and all that. It had the GPIO is just on the top. They don't expose a lot of stuff. But this thing had a display, LED display, two button, and of
Oh, is this
course,
an OLED? I thought these
no,
are just LEDs.
this is just simple LED.
Ah, mhm.
So this is actually designed microcontroller designed for children to learn. Another interesting thing about this is that so below is the GPIO. You use Crocodile Clip. It's programmable with Scratch, MicroPython, and JavaScript. MicroPython is interesting because MicroPython is supported by default, so it's JavaScript, so very interesting. So the section people does is they actually build a set of sensors to make it easy to easy to build modules, hack your stuff and all that. So yeah, and more importantly, it comes with a workbook. So if you had a
Mm.
microgrid, you want something for your children and all that, back the Kickstarter. In fact, if you look at the reward, some of the reward is already only have few left. So yeah, share with them.
Hmm.
So
There's
the
still
next
like
one,
450 left out of 500 for the early bird deal. So like a lot of
yes,
well, the super early bird is already gone by the time I
correct,
saw
correct,
it,
correct, correct.
but this one is not that bad. I think
Yeah, it's not that bad.
I think the price is
So
just
this,
okay.
yeah, it's just okay, and more importantly, this thing are targeted for It's targeted for minimal configuration, so which is why it's not something I focus on because uh, I don't have microbit and microbit is very easy to use. Yeah, I sound bad. I sound because sound it too easy for me. Haha. But this is targeted for children and all that, which I think is really interesting. So let's move on to the next one. Gita adjoining metrics. I don't understand what is this. Gita is a chat system that go on top of GitHub, right? Am I correct?
I think no. Gitter was done with GitLab first, I think, and then they
Okay, okay, okay.
started doing like accounts. So basically, the channels that you are in are repositories. And so
Right,
someone can create a chat room or a channel based on a repository. And it's like more like you already have a repository, might as well make a chat room out of it.
right. Metrics is actually open source chat system. It's like Slack, but open source. So yeah, a big system joined to another open source ecosystem. I think this will be very interesting. So the next one is Azure Active Directory is down. So an Active Directory is actually an authentication system. It's
Mhm.
similar to the AWS. What's the thing called?
IAM.
IAM, right? IAM. But Active Directory is
I
really
don't
Active
know if you
Directory.
pronounce it IAM though. I
Oh,
think
IAM.
Amazon wants us to pronounce it IAM, but I just say
Yeah.
IAM because it becomes
Yes.
confusing.
So for Azure, you use AD, Active Directory. Active Directory is a very traditional way to actually control, do your one. It's a traditional way. It's one of the traditional way for you to do your
I mean, if you
one
had a
single sign on.
if you were
Yeah.
working on a like corporate and you
Yeah.
had like a Windows system administrator, like we do
It's very
Windows
likely.
NT, all of these things, yeah, and then you have Microsoft Outlook and all of these things, yeah, you probably were
Yes.
doing Active Directory.
Correct. This AD is not the only thing that provides single sign-on in the enterprise. There is, oh man, Kerberos and all that, but it's all supported with each other. Microsoft one doesn't support well with others, but the other will work well with the existing infrastructure, which is actually very interesting. So this is actually happening on September 28th. So it's outage. So any question you want to go on before I move on?
No,
Okay, Shopify
well,
had a
actually, I
data
had one. Sorry, I had
for
one.
what?
Were you
Uh-huh.
affected?
No, it's just an announcement.
Okay. I don't know if anyone that I know actually uses Azure, except if like when they won some free credits for free.
Yeah,
So I'm
yeah, yeah,
not sure
yeah.
about Azure.
Correct. So Shopback, I do not know what is Shopback service, but apparently they got a big data breach. And this is actually the first case that I know of that is being investigated by the data protection department. Uh,
Yeah. The
so,
only time I've heard of Shopback is when they had this campaign in YouTube where it's like shop back,
mhm.
something, YouTube ads.
uh,
But aside from that, I don't actually use it.
yes, but it's interesting because they actually do a postmortem, and also interesting because legally it is right. This is supposed to be done by the personal data protection department. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
but the personal uh, data protection department actually have other roles. I hope to see them to do more stuff. Let's see. So this is something more interesting. We intend to acquire Softstack. They didn't get it yet.
What's Softstack?
Softstack is an alternative to Salt is actually something similar to it's an automation tool which you can use to actually deploy and provision your infrastructure. Very similar. It in a way it's like Puppet and the likes.
Hmm.
Uh, in a way that it's a configuration first. Uh, Also, it's a bit like Chef in a way that
Oh no, Simeng, you're gone again. What happened?
yes.
Okay, I think. Are you back? Yes, you are back.
VMware had
No,
a
you're
very good
not.
reason to acquire this
Okay, you're back.
because
Mm-hmm.
VMware actually do a lot of infrastructure provisioning and all that. So that's the business actually. They previously they only do virtual machine. Then as technology
Mm-hmm.
mature, they also do provisioning. But unfortunately, VMware is not what we call uh, they're not necessarily openness
Cloud
friendly.
provider? Oh,
They're not
okay.
friendly to open source and all that lah. So which is actually a problem. So even though they submit code to Linux, but they also do a lot of stuff that only make it work well only for the infrastructure and all that. So yeah. Next one, uh, Amazon Cloud Gaming Service is being launched in the US now, so they can play game and all that. In US only, let's see how it goes.
But there's a lot of these
Which,
things, right? Like Nvidia has one,
yep,
Microsoft
yep,
had one,
yep,
Google Stadia famously
yes.
failed. There's
Uh,
Parsec. There's like
yeah,
Storm Shadow Play. I know that's Nvidia. So all of these
correct.
things. What's different about this thing?
I do not know to be honest. But
Hmm.
this is a big player that decided to join the game, which makes things very interesting. So the next one is final one. Also, the thing about this cloud gaming service is very is actually very bandwidth dependent. So the reason why only recently they can do that because our internet is theoretically reasonably fast enough, except
Yeah,
that
you
a lot
might
of
as
this
well
also
just
depends on infrastructure local.
might as well just
Correct, right?
spend
But
your money with a nice laptop because like the money that you'll spend, you can at least, I don't know, have a fast
correct. That's a
computer
theory, right?
alongside with
That's
your
a theory.
games.
The theory for that is your laptop is 5,000 ringgit and you can theoretically play your game on the 1,000 ringgit iPad.
Hmm.
So, or you got a MacBook, you can play your Windows game. Then what happens is you play this on the cloud. That's the theory behind it, lah.
Well, that's
But
it. I guess I can understand it for the Mac people because you
yeah,
get a Mac and then you have to just pay more just so that you can play
uh,
games. So that's
these thing,
understandable. But I
these
don't know
guys are
about the
not
others.
targeting. These people are not targeting people like me, gamer like me. They're not also not targeting gamer. They're not targeting gamer definitely. They are not targeting the console players because a console player will use it if the console provide it, which makes sense for the console because console had smaller disk space. So that's interesting. Uh,
Hmm.
but for us, we're willing to cover up the money because we do use the computing power and play game at the same time. So it doesn't make sense for us. But this thing, I foresee that either the pipes to oversee are longer or faster, actually faster. So we got bigger pipe to oversee, or we have more localized infrastructure. Only with this that to me that it makes sense. So and
Hmm.
final one, Postgres 13 is out. More performance gain, more
Hmm.
administration, and more security enhancement. Yeah.
How come your Buzz Corner does not include Sen on the Pi 4?
What? Oh,
Sen on Pi
you sh-
4.
you share your screen there. I forget to add it.
I don't have it here.
Let
And I
me
have a
edit.
widescreen, so it's not going to be good for a share screen
Okay,
because it's
okay,
too
okay,
wide.
okay. Let me get that. Oh man, I'm adding so many things.
Yeah. It's nice. But send for the Pi 4. So I guess someone on the Slack engineers at my Slack channel was asking why would you want send on a Pi, right? Raspberry Pi when you only
Uh,
have like 8 gigs of memory at the
correct,
maximum.
correct, correct, correct. I think it's a good proof of concept because oh my goodness, where is it? It's a good
Yeah,
proof of concept. The reason for that is Raspberry Pi is an ARM processor,
it is. Yeah,
so it's a way to test things out. It's also interesting because this is a well, quote unquote, edge device, meaning
mm-hmm.
when you put your system. Okay, so the Raspberry Pi actually have industrial application system. It's actually
Yep.
a very small type to put on slot,
Yeah.
and
Apparently, the most of the sales of the Pi was for
yeah,
industrial use and not for
correct.
hobbyists. People think, oh, this is for hobbyists, for education, etc. But actually, a lot of industrial folks buy the Pi, which is the reason why USB boot was only recently like became stable, right? A lot of
Correct.
people were complaining, why don't you focus on USB boot? Why are you focusing on Ethernet boot, for example, like
Yeah.
network boot? Because apparently the money comes from the industrial folks who
Correct.
rely
Correct.
on network boot because
Yes.
you would rather have like uh, Ethernet cables everywhere, Cat5,
Yeah.
and that's where you start like your boot process. It's already wired anyway. So you have PoE, for example, and then you just have everything else on the same thing.
So
So
we have this. Okay, this is a bit off topic. We'll try a bit longer. There's this story about the next generation fighter jet in the
mm-hmm,
US are using virtualization technology in their subsystem. The reason
mm-hmm.
for that is each of the component of a plane are controlled by computers. And having virtualization means you can
Wait,
literally isolate different
so
environments.
so yeah, so each component has its own virtual machine to control it, and they're all
Then you can
isolated from each other.
then you don't actually need to physically put it. You can have one powerful computer with multiple virtual computers to control each of the
Yeah.
components.
Huh.
That uh,
So are they doing it so that when a system gets hacked, it doesn't
yeah, yeah,
automatically
yeah,
hack the
yeah,
other
yeah, yeah.
stuff?
Correct,
Mhm.
correct, correct. I do
Mm.
not know whether it's relevant to Raspberry Pi because I cannot imagine an industrial use Raspberry Pi have this kind of use case. So, but I think maybe it might be useful from there. You know what I mean?
Maybe this is a sign that the Raspberry Pi will have 16 gigs of RAM in the
Yeah,
future.
correct.
Mm.
And I think that's bus corner for me then. Give me
Mhm.
a while. I need to switch my Wi-Fi off and all that.
Okay.
I'll be
So
back.
what are we going to talk about while we're live? Well, I can talk about these things while you're switching your
Yeah,
Wi-Fi thing.
yeah,
So these are Pan 1780 units. They're eval kit by Panasonic, and they are not yet out from in the market because I got sent these to do a road test review by Element 14. So over the next few weeks, I'll be testing them out, the ranges. So they have an NRF 52840 on there. So that's the chip. The chip is here. This is the eval kit. So this is just like the NRF 52840 DK. And yeah, so there's going to be a lot of content from me over the next few days, next few weeks
yeah,
with the eval kit. And if you are interested in reviewing things, Element 14 has a road test program. So if you apply and you get picked as one of the road testers, then you get sent free stuff and you get to keep it after your review. All they need is your review. I'm still a new reviewer, and so I only get like these cheap. Well, not really cheap. This is like what 400 ringgit for the eval kit. But some people get like oscilloscopes and all of these things for like 3,000 US dollars. and they get it for free as long as you just post a review. So if you're interested, just go to Element 14 and see if might be interesting. Maybe we'll see each other there, and then we can talk about stuff there as well.
So,
Yep.
so today, one of my plan is actually. So recently, I've been watching the show, as in quite a lot of people, the Social Dilemma, right? So
Mm-hmm.
because I watch Social Dilemma, I think it's very apt for me to turn off the camera because I need to be paranoid,
Okay.
and also bandwidth because
What?
I rely on my phone.
Yeah.
Go
What
on.
is a dilemma? What's a dilemma?
Okay. So the dilemma here is the social networking software uh, are actually part of our life, right? It's everywhere. We make friends with it. We talk to friends with it. We find love on it.
Mm-hmm.
Girlfriend, partner. Uh, we organize event. We do stuff around the system because when we build our system, when we use the system, we use it in a very innocent way. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
we only expect essentially treating Facebook as a fancy as a fancy phone book. Does that make
Mm-hmm.
sense?
Yep.
We want It's a phone book that have messaging service. It's a phone book that send us a birthday party invitation or whatever, or wedding or whatever event. We do not think about much, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but the thing is, uh, turns out that this software actually do a lot more than a phone book. So it can be something as innocent as sharing the news. I got this virus behind my house, for example, right? Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so one of the thing is the show is about the impact of this. I think the show had a heavy focus on the. Okay, so the first thing you need to know is that the show already had a narrative on social media is bad, uh, but important. Unfortunately, I can't live away from it. And how they go there is by talking to the people behind this software. So one of the things they describe is in the beginning they talk about uh, this software are here to actually take your attention. Man, I have a book with me. Do I have it? So the point is, they describe this app as attention merchant. What does it mean? Is that let's start at the very beginning. Why they call that a merchant? Because uh, one of old saying is if you're not paying, you are the product. That's one thing
Mm-hmm.
that keep reminding. So if we are not paying and using a service, what are they selling from? Selling us to, right? The short answer is they try to sell attention. They try to sell attention,
Oh, whose attention? Our attention.
our attention,
Yeah.
and they say to advertising, right? They
Mm-hmm.
say to advertisers, and the reason for that is because they're paying, right? And how they do that by putting on ads. And how does it work? Is by having a AI system, right? Having an AI
Mm-hmm.
system and ads bidding system. So so within the show, they actually describe things like artificial intelligence that is out of control. So because your system can learn by itself, you don't actually know how it works anymore. And what the artificial intelligence, what the system does is they learn about you,
Mm-hmm.
they learn what catch your attention and manipulate you so that you can gain attention, so that they can sell your eyeballs by putting an ads after after the advertiser buy for it. That's one of the things that's telling you, right? So the
Mm.
big 3 point here is uh, it's not innocent. It's not an innocent system. It's not an innocent system. Uh, you are the product. You're not the user, and the system will try their best to actually keep your attention. That's the three thing in
But
the beginning.
is this brought about because the technology is there, or is this because of a business thing, or is this just like, yeah, technology
Ah,
gone awry and we can't control it anymore?
the short answer is the technology, but the reason for that is why. So that's actually part of the somewhat later in the story. So the reason is, turns out that running this software, we are startup people, right? Running this thing
Mm-hmm.
actually costs money. Infrastructure costs money,
Mm-hmm.
and we build a software, we expect profit. So we just have monetization. And which is why we have
Mm-hmm.
growth hacking, right? Which is why people keep saying growth hacking. We need to grow. We need to grow, grow, grow. And the reason we want to grow is because so that we can access to more eyeballs, more attention, so that we can sell more ads. So
Mm-hmm.
this startup actually, we as startup had a problem that we want to grow very fast. As a result, the tech community, the Silicon Valley guys, especially, even some of us, actually spend a lot of time trying to grow as fast as possible with building techniques. With some is innocent, some is not. So, for example, the light system is very simple. Originally, when we put light, it's so that it's an easy way to engage. So it's a painless way to engage, like. And as you engage, you will see more and you see more things. So that's a like
Mm-hmm.
system, right? Uh, then from like system, they will actually learn from you. Oh, you like this kind of thing, so put it in the data set, put it, grow it, and all that. So that's just, and also the notification system. Originally, it's a very simple thing, so that you know what is happening around you.
Mm-hmm.
But turns out that notifications is we human actually are a very social animal, meaning we want to know what our friend up to. Uh, Not in a bad way. We just want to know that, oh, what happened with those guys? Are they fine? Are they hurt? Do they need help? They're out of concern, right? So
Mm-hmm.
notification system actually hijack. So again, just to tell people that we have things coming, but turns out that the notification system uh, also hijack our brain in a way that we keep having all the time. We keep having it all the time. So as a result, we kind of hook on it very easily. So a lot of the in the beginning is actually the law of unintended consequences. We do something interesting and all that. One thing that keep harping is that the machine learning system will randomize the notification. Actually, that's not true. Okay, maybe it's true, but uh, a more likely scenario is actually the way we interact with people, the activity that we do is random. It's pretty random. As a result, we kept having randomized solutions. So this actually, what they're describing is essentially Skinner box. So Skinner
What?
box
Sorry,
is actually
a Skinner
Skinner
box.
box.
Mm-hmm.
Skinner box is actually Skinner is a psychologist that actually do his experiment on pigeon. So he discovered that to keep the pigeon from pressing the button, it's either pigeon or
Mm-hmm.
rat, but Skinner was well known for using pigeon. So by randomizing the interval of reward, the pigeon will keep pressing the button longer than constant reward. So meaning
Mm-hmm.
it works better than every time a pigeon press a button when they guarantee a reward, they will only up to a level. But if they press a button and they only come up random time, the pigeon will actually press longer. So it's very. This is actually how your jackpot machine work in Genting actually. So
Mm-hmm.
so notification system, for example, actually have this kind of behavior. So another actually example for notification system is they try to, when you sign off for a long time, they try to get you back in. They will hook you back in. Uh, I disagree on how it works, but it actually exists because you try to gain more people, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't agree with how the technology work, but I agree on the impact because it's like I have a cool example. So let's say you really want a new toy. You look at
Mm-hmm.
Lazada. Here's the interesting thing. That when every time you look at it, there's a register of intent. As a result, Lazada will attempt to get more ads for people like you, right? So
Mm-hmm.
as a result, even though you already buy something, you already buy a camera that you look at, Lazada will still recommend you a camera because they do not have a context that you already have what you want, right? But they still give you this.
Mm-hmm.
All the thing that you watch on social media is essentially that that do not have context that you already done. As a result, they keep recommending you the same thing over and over. So as a result, your circle will only be smaller and smaller. So so in the show they try to make it sounds like the system is evil. It's not. They do not have intention to hook you to something. It's just that when you click something, they keep recommending you something. When you visit, so for example, if I visit, so one of the things that I always do, I always like space thing. So they will keep recommending me things that's related to space. You get the
Mm-hmm.
idea, right? Uh,
Yeah. Well, it makes sense, no? Like if
yeah,
you do a lot of space stuff, then you might want more of space stuff.
correct. But the thing is, when it will keep recommending it, even though you click it for the first time, right? Because you look
Mm-hmm.
interested. Let's keep looking. That's what's happening right now. So I already talked about the three things: how it's used for, how it's used for, unintended consequences, you are the product, and how they hook you. So yeah, I think this show is actually pretty good at introducing how the social media system would work. And also the thing
Mm-hmm.
is, what it lack is a solution, but more of that later. Lah. So more of that later. I will talk about solution on that. They don't give a lot of solution, but there is one that is very interesting. Uh, I just think that well, this is a good companion. No, you should watch this first. Then you watch the Great Hack. So the Great Hack had a focus on Cambridge Analytica.
Mm-hmm.
So Cambridge Analytica is a bit different in the way that they had a focus on propaganda machine. The social dilemma is that how the system, social media system, actually have tendency to influence you in a way possible. So they will make you addicted to a system. So and and why human are not prepared for this. So one good example is that we human actually like praises, right?
Mm-hmm.
We like praises. So every time you give a feedback, every time we give a feedback, we and if a good one, we'll be very happy. So the thing is, we
Mm-hmm.
do not know how to handle a good feedback that come in every time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes think about your workplace. It's a very simple face to even your workplace chat, small group, 10 people, like for example, right? When you get praise, you get 10 people, cool. You get a bad, you get a criticism, 1, 2 people, you already feel very bad. You only, and you do not get out of time. You're done. You feel bad. You go do your thing. You introspect and all that, right? But what happened in the social media system is that you aim to have thousands of followers, and suddenly you have 20 people at one time, and 5 of them tell you suck without any further feedback from stranger, right? You do not know how to handle it, right? So trolls will do something like that, right? In the work environment, you generally know whoever bring criticism, and this one is a bit bad in a way that now the public, quote unquote, are criticizing you, and you do not know how to handle that. The people that usually handle that is politicians and celebrities, but these are the folks have people that shield against them. When you have a teenager that still try to grow their self-esteem and all that, having like trolls and people that get haters to tell them you suck, now we have a problem, right? Because we do not know how to handle the thing. So in social media system, every time we get a like, you feel good, and try to imagine you do it 10 times more, hundreds of people like your photo, for example. Uh, yeah, that's
So
precisely
you
what
want to
happened.
upload more photos, right? You want to
Yeah,
upload
yeah.
more
That's the
photos
point.
because yeah.
Now it
So
form a circle.
what's the dilemma there? Like, what are the two bad
Uh,
choices? Because usually, when you say
no,
dilemma, you had like two choices and both of them are bad.
no. So the thing is, you don't have to use a social media system. Yet you sound like you have to use it, and they're using your information to do things that you're not expecting to. So, for example, it's not supposed to make you change your opinion into their way. So, so, so a good example that they put inside is that organization would buy ads to target you in hope that you would change your opinion to vote for other people, for example. Uh, and so you may think that, well, whoever they're making influence, they're already on the fence, so they have to make a decision either way, right? But the counter argument for that is they don't have to make decision; they can stand, and they have to decide themselves, right? So you should not
Yeah.
influence them to buy things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and also, because human, want to go back to that. One thing is human are not ready for the environment where we meet all the friends constantly, receive feedback constantly. So the case of depression actually higher because uh, teenagers, people like us that actually get criticism for people, get criticism from public, unfiltered for no reason. And this actually happening seriously on Twitter. On Twitter,
Mm-hmm.
you don't have to use Twitter. Yet you put stuff there. Then occasionally you have
So I have a
some troll.
question on this one.
Yeah.
Like these undesired behaviors. Like, whose responsibility is it to make things
Ah,
better? Right? Like,
so
something is wrong, but does the
yes.
government have to regulate things, or is this just technology people doing things because they can do it
Uh,
anyway without consequences, and so they need to be aware of consequences? Like, how should the responsibility be laid
so the
out?
thing is, this show is horrible in a way that they don't have a solution. They don't have a
Mm-hmm.
solution. They only have vague solution. For example, you need to limit advertising, the power of advertising on your platform. Meaning you have to reduce the trackers and all that. This is the Apple strategy. They limit the tracking capability. If you use an iPhone, that it's very hard for third party to track you now. Uh, you have Another one is actually from the creator of VR, one of the creator of VR. So what happened is he decided that we do not need social media, which I tend to agree, but now we actually have to cut off with friend and all that, right? So they're saying that we should learn to live without learn without learn to live without social media, which actually makes sense because you don't actually need it. Social media is useful for us for a few things. It's a phone book. It's a phone book that happens to invite you to event, right? So you need to limit that. Another one that suggests is something very traditional. Uh, Notice that it used to be at certain time in the morning. At a certain time in the morning, there's cartoon for children, and the ads that can only go at that time. You won't see shampoo and all that. You can see children shampoo, but you won't see adult shampoo. The reason is there's an only for a certain time period, only children can only see ad from that time, and they can only see certain type of ads. So there's the government regulation side. So they don't have solution. They just have vaguely like technologies to do something. What do not know. Apple do
Yeah,
something
but
about it already.
who's going to push for it? Like which
Ah,
party has the incentive to
correct,
change things?
correct. So that's a problem. They don't give a solution for that. So my opinion for that is my mic fall, my mic drop. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so you have different organization that can do different things, right? Of course, you have the traditional government agency that which says that on certain platform, uh, so certain type of ads are not allowed in this country. If you want to do business in the country, that's my opinion. It's not from the show, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, we need another thing that I would suggest is what I call a social media cleansing. What I mean for that, the time that I tell everybody we need to go to the boathouse, and everybody is saying that there is no Wi-Fi. I mean, arguably, I'm also saying that we should do hackathon on the boat, but we should
Wh-
actually
wh-
learn to
Why
live without
why
internet.
why
Uh-huh.
is it a good idea to have a hackathon on a place like a plane or a boat or an island?
Or so that we can focus on code and not spending time on
Okay,
research.
that's quite strange though. I, like it's quite difficult to code without any sort of
Yeah, but
reference.
either way, let's say we don't do hackathon, right? We just go on a boathouse without computer. For example,
Mm-hmm.
that would be something I suggest. One day without internet, that'd be pretty cool. So, which is why I say, go outside. The world is interesting. I think for that, for the new generation, we need to educate again on to have friends offline, and that is actually a bit harder now. But it's, uh, and also we again traditional type of regulation. Only certain type of content are allowed on a platform. So, which is why traditionally your social media, your Facebook, your 14-year-old are not supposed to be on Facebook, right? Your 14-year-old are not
Mm-hmm.
supposed, yet a lot of parents just allow it, which is a bad idea because, okay, so in the real world,
Well,
there's actually physical
yeah, it's
barrier
quite
for
difficult.
you.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
difficult to prevent access for like
correct,
especially if you
correct, correct.
give like all of these devices. Like when I was 14, I just did anything. I mean,
Yes,
there was
yes,
no
yes,
Facebook
yes,
then, but I just did
yes.
anything with like in secret. It's your rebellious phase.
Correct, correct, correct. And the and also the difference between our time is the internet are reasonably. We don't have a commenting system. We don't have a like system. We don't have. We used to have email that is horrible, but to actually attack you, you're going to do a personal attack on email, and you can literally just delete it and forget about it. But once you had somebody criticize you in public because you have public commenting system, things are different, right? So there's a difference between our time and all that. So we need to have a good way to actually a way to actually think about this deeper because we don't actually have solution now. Because for a long time we just built something because it sounds cool, we act like because it's awesome, but it turns out that for certain situation, uh, you also have a tendency to Facebook also has a tendency to push up things to the most like up. As a result, even the bad stuff tend to have more like and all that. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
let's move on a little. We don't have solution for that. But what I don't agree is to build an AI system to monitor the system. So essentially, what happened is the answer. What I suggest is I don't really care because it's out of hand. We should build a system to take care of it anyway. I think that's a bit wrong. I mean, so you can use automated system, intelligent system to actually monitor it, but you need to have control for it, which is yeah. So the thing I don't like about the social dilemma is that we don't have solution, but we don't have a good solution for that, which is actually a problem. We know there's a problem. We know that teenagers are more depressed and teenage suicide get higher during the time when more access to social, during the period with more social media access. That is the
Mm-hmm.
statistics. Uh, and trolling is real and all that, but nobody had a good solution for it. Other than the fact that we need to, one of the good one that I like is still like this, the reduce the incentive for using advertising to sell stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's the best one we have right now. But even that, we are cutting off source of income.
Mm-hmm. Well, maybe
So
that's
another
why
one that,
it's so
uh-huh,
difficult to fix the problem is that a lot of people are depending on the current status quo to
yeah, correct.
work because that's how they're making their money.
And more importantly, there's actually incentive. Another good way is to actually make sure that when you pay for a service, you won't get anything in return. So you have to pay adequately for the service. Problem now is that I'm good on water, you know what?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, the infrastructure that we use is expensive. It's ridiculously
Mm-hmm.
expensive. You look at Uber for a taxi booking service, the infrastructure is ridiculously expensive, right? Uh, or your Facebook system for something as a phone book, they have machine learning system to automatically tag you. They have automated posts. Make sure your thing are not within community guideline, quote unquote. Even things like Facebook are very expensive. Even if you don't need that, you're buying hundreds of servers around the world, so somebody had to pay for it somehow.
Mm-hmm.
But how? I don't know, right? And also, when you make something need to be paid, now you're limiting access, which is actually the reverse of what internet have done for most people. Because I got to use the internet because it's free. I do not need to pay for GeoCities to host
Mm-hmm.
my stupid website, right? I
Mm-hmm.
don't need to pay for my friend for. I don't need to pay for something so that I can make contact with my friend. And things like I don't have to pay for email uh, when I actually so that I can get access to the user group, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because internet are free that we get access, but because it's free that we got into all this mess. So we don't have a good scenario here, right? We don't actually have a good scenario
Mm-hmm.
here. Actually, yeah.
Well,
So
yeah,
yeah,
that's it.
go on.
No, I was just because it's almost the end of the hour, so I was thinking of
Yep.
like positive social activities, and I think we were talking about Hacktoberfest, which is
Yeah.
like I mean it's the same incentives, like
Yeah.
having like not necessarily praise, but when your pull request gets merged, right? You want to contribute more, and it's for a good cause. And so yeah, so
Yes.
DigitalOcean has Hacktoberfest. I'll share my screen.
Yep.
Let's see what happens, right? Share screen. Are you able to share my screen?
I
Are you
can't
able to
see
see my screen?
anything. Oh, let me
Oh.
add you. Let me add it. Let me add it. Let me add it.
Mm-hmm.
Let me put a full screen layout.
Yeah, sorry, my monitor is quite wide,
Yep.
so this is how you see it. So
Yep.
let me see. Let yeah, okay, so currently our site is eligible for Hacktoberfest contributions, and it looks like
Okay.
my pull request yesterday. So I guess this is I don't know, UTC activities or
Yeah.
whatever or something, is actually in the thing. So if you are interested in a T-shirt from DigitalOcean
Yeah.
and want to contribute to Hacktoberfest, then you can go and, I don't know, try and improve some of the design work in the blog for DevKami.
Yep.
Um, yeah, because we just, as long as it looks okay, we're done with it. But if you have better CSS and design skills than us, then why not? If you want to contribute articles or automations or stuff, then we'll put it there. Because apparently our repository is considered open source by
Right.
DigitalOcean.
I wonder what's the site called? Hacktoberfest.org, right?
Hacktoberfest.digitalocean.com.
Okay. Let me try it.
Yeah.
Also,
So of
we
course,
have.
this is just one of
Um,
the this is one of the easiest ways to contribute to devkami.com. But of course, you're also encouraged to contribute to other open source projects that you use, be it for documentation, like the easiest ones, or solving one of their, like, go to their issue tracker, see which ones you think is like you can do with your skill level, and then just try it and implement it.
yeah. Ah, okay. So I'm actually trying to see whether my project. I do have one project
Yeah.
uh,
Hmm.
that is open source, Georgia. I'm not sure if.
Yeah. Nicholas is asking, should you add more communities? Yes, please. Send us a PR.
Yes.
Not all of the communities, maybe like, but you've been with with DevKami for a long time. You know which ones we consider as high quality. So
Yeah.
again, the point is that we want to curate the high quality ones. So not any of those Bitcoin marketing groups. So we definitely wouldn't want
Yeah.
those. But
Yes.
developers and technology on blockchains, and I don't know, it's like some community that we don't know of, but we want to be part
So
of. Yeah, sure.
yes. Our line for our guideline for community is one. It should have a focus on technology, not and a focus on technology. It's not supposed to make try to sell the idea of making money quickly. Making
Mm-hmm.
money slowly is fine. IKA, if it's a startup event, that's fine. But we do
Mm-hmm.
not condone Ponzi scheme, MLM. I think in this case, I made an exception for blockchain in a way that can only talk about technology, but I would ban any talk about using blockchain to
Yeah,
hoard money as order. Yes.
there.
So yeah,
So, okay,
so that's our line lah.
that's it. Yeah.
Yes. So either way, I still recommend you to watch Social Dilemma. Give us your
I
opinion
don't know where to watch
because,
it from because I don't have Netflix. Maybe I'll just like pay the 17 ringgit mobile thing, watch it, and then cancel.
yeah, up to
It's not that
you.
bad.
That
I don't really
is
have time to
okay.
watch Netflix anymore.
Yeah, I understand. Or borrow one of your colleagues' one in your office, right?
I don't know if they have
Temporarily.
Netflix.
Okay,
Why don't
interesting.
you allow me into your Netflix account?
Because I use it up for my brother have it, I have it, and the TV have it. So I need one more for emergency, because theoretically I already use one for my phone and my computer and
Mhm.
TV. Then occasionally my brother might have used it or something. I don't know. So that's the difference now. So either way, Hacktoberfest, more contribution. I think I can also use more contribution in one of my project, but that's the issue.
Yeah. So
Uh,
yeah, speaking of
yeah,
social dilemma, that's yeah, you have good social systems and you have like
yeah,
broken social systems, and
yes.
hopefully the ones that get support are the ones that contribute better to society.
And that's it. So I think we should say goodbye there.
Mhm.
Okay. And with that said, goodbye.
Bye. See you again
Oh
next
yeah.
week.
One last announcement. I hope to get somebody that is switching career, either from outside to dev or from dev to other thing. So
Mhm.
talk to us. Talk to us. I hope to do some interview with you guys soon. So that's all. All right. That's all
Okay.
from me. So
Bye.
goodbye.
See you next
Bye.
week. Subscribe,
Yes.
like, share everything.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah.